Another day in the shop with a lovely sunset for you guys. How's it going? My name is Kevin, and this is my 2017 Tacoma that I have long traveled, put on 37s, and it is double locked. So it does great in the dirt, it does great in the rocks. We're about to throw a camper on it. I think that's going to make it the ultimate truck. So that's what we're talking about today, is sealing up the Tacoma bed, and let's jump right into it. I know what you're probably thinking. You're like, there's nothing left of this guy's truck. Why am I going to listen to him? So let's jump into that real quick. I just posted the video as of today for the DMZ rear frame box kit for the Tacomas. So if you didn't know, the Tacoma from the back seats to the back bumper is open C-channel frame. So what that kit does is it boxes in the entire frame and you tie in the factory cross members. But you need to pull the bed and the gas tank to completely finish weld the frame and paint it and everything. So originally, this is not the tub that came with the truck. I've had this truck for about 6 years now, and there's a lot of holes drilled. That was super cooked, the old bed. So this is actually a new bed off a 2023 Tacoma that I bought off Facebook Marketplace. So the old bed's sitting in my backyard, and this is the new bed that we're going to be working with. It's completely pristine. So it is a 2017 truck with a 2023 bed, which is, I think, is hilarious. So we're also going to go ahead and knock out new bed stiffeners and a couple other goodies, but I think this is the perfect spot to start this video because I have the bed completely torn down to the bare bones. I could show you guys spots where it leaks, spots where some people get, spots where some people don't get, shit you don't want to forget, and all the gaps in the actual frame. And I think that's a great spot to start. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the little intro. I guess let's see what we got. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the most common places that you're going to see on most other videos that are jumping into sealing your Tacoma bed. The most obvious one that people talk about is right up in here where the bedside mounts to the bed, and in between this little backer piece you have a huge gap in here. That one's super obvious just because it's a huge gap. But things that I don't see people talking about is these bed lights right here have huge gaps in them. So I'm going to see if I could zoom in a little bit. I pulled them out and I completely siliconed them. You don't have to be careful with it. I just dabbed it all up, sealed up all the holes. That's a good one. Here's another one. You can clearly see that there's sunlight coming right through there. And at the back of the bed, right where my finger is, you have 3 drain holes. Those are really small, but I would recommend doing those. I put tape on the bottom, silicone from the top, and then I took the tape off after a couple days. So I'm also going to show you guys a great trick that you can use that's pretty obvious, but you could definitely use it if you're trying to find holes and seal your bed from water or dust. So this is the perfect example of why I wanted to film this video without bedsides. So as you can see, I just have a flashlight shining right where the metal meets the plastic bed. And let me show you on the other side. You see all these huge, where the light comes through, they're actually pretty big gaps all the way up. Right down here, these are huge gaps. So I've never seen on a video on YouTube that them showing you this because it's obviously super hard to get to. So what I'm going to do is clean this up really good, maybe with like a toothbrush or something, old toothbrush, caulk all this, or silicone, not caulk, silicone all these gaps. You have all these gaps in here where you can see the light coming through, and all these cracks go into your bed. So I'm going to seal the back side and seal this front side where both of them meet, and this huge gap right here. This is easily the biggest gap. Let me see if I could show you. It's a huge gap. So like I said, we talked about this corner, seal these lights, take your bed boxes off, seal those up on both sides, do this, and you have drain holes right in here. There's 3 little drain holes at the foot of your bed, up against the cab. Put some tape under it, shoot some silicone down through the top, wipe it clean, let those dry. You could pull the tape off, and those are a lot of the big spots that I'm going to do. Now let's talk about the bed sides. Alright, so here's a quick clip on what I just did. Oh shit, I need a light. Alright, so I just sealed this leading edge where both metals meet, and on the inside, of course. You can see that right in that corner. I also did it on this side, of course, on the opposite side, but I did put this bed side on because this is, I believe, the next thing we're going to talk about. I guess I'll jump into that right now while we're at it. So if you could see this bedside clips, it hooks over the bed. Here's the empty side. So it hooks over the bed like this. So what I'm kind of figuring is if you seal this edge right here, like put silicone on this edge and then put the bedside over it and then just wipe it clean once it's on, that should help water will come over here from the tire and drop down into your bed. That crow is extremely annoying. So water's going to be kicked up from your tire, comes up, hits the top of your bedside, and then goes in the bed right here. Because they do not sit flat. Can't really show you. So it doesn't sit flat on top of the actual plastic of the bed. It just hooks over, and seems like all the weight is actually by these bolts is what actually holds the bedside up, and then you have all the bolts going down through here that tie the bedside in right here. And if you're curious, this is what I'm using. It's just some stuff I bought from the hardware store. Silicone RTV. The light sucks. And it's black, just because the whole bed is black. But once I seal that, I gotta wipe it all clean so it doesn't show on the white. It doesn't matter too much. And right up front, right there, you can see that huge gap I was talking about. There's a plastic cover that goes on here that takes up a bit of that gap, but it's honestly not much. So this is the first time the truck's had a bedside on it for over a month. So sorry if this video sucks. I'm kind of rushing to get this done because I want to go wheel this weekend, hopefully. So hopefully I have a clip of the sealing the bedside. Alright, a new day is upon us. So we got a lot done over the past couple days. The big thing I'm going to go over that I think you guys should knock out. Ooh, that was probably loud. Sorry. I ended up sealing the top of the bedside on both sides. Then you have these holes for where the tonneau cover used to be, and a huge gap right here. This is probably where a lot of the water and dust will come in once it gets kicked up from the tire. And I actually ended up using some of this, which, according to Gorilla, is permanent duct tape. So far it seems pretty legit. It looks pretty good. I've seen on YouTube a lot of guys use aluminum tape, but I actually work in the trades, and I'm seeing aluminum tape degrade over a couple years, like 2 or 3 years. I kind of see it degrade. It is exposed to a lot of heat, so that could be a big part of it. But I think this is a more permanent solution. It's going to stay in there. I'm kind of worried about it peeling the tape or peeling the paint if I ever take the tape off. But it's under that plastic cap that's right up top, so it's not the biggest deal. And these bedsides are already kind of shredded. Let me see if I could show you how bad this paint is. It's pretty bad. And then I believe it or not, hit a rock on dishpan in Big Bear, California. So I siliconed in the bedsides when they were off. I taped the top holes. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do in this huge gap right here in the front of the bedside because it is a pretty big gap. But I sealed behind these, right in that gap that we mentioned earlier. Now the bigger thing is the tailgate. And what I think I'm going to do is they make these, there's a plane going by overhead. they make these like panels that go all along the tailgate, and it's just a flat panel that connects your bed to your tailgate, and you just, I'm assuming 3M tape all along it, and when it folds up, it just folds up with it. I think I'm going to end up doing that, and then just some small strips of like the just standard shell camper type sealant strips that you put on there. Like when you put on the camper, you put on those like bulb seals, but they make them for right here. I think I'm going to just end up doing that for the tailgate. It's not going to be perfect, but I think sealing everything that I've talked about so far, all the top and the bottom, is going to take care of at least 50 or 60% more than where we were. And then the tailgate, I know it's not going to be perfect, so I'm going to just do what I can and not go too crazy with it, because I feel like it's just going to end up being more of a pain in the ass and just a little bit of dust that comes in. Really no water ever comes in from the tailgate. It's usually just from these corners and on top of the bedsides. So a little bit of dust is totally fine with me. We're probably going to have like all the camper doors open at camp all the time. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I covered pretty much everything. Here's kind of what the truck looks like with half of it done. I gotta put the bed supports back on, the reservoir mounts back on, and then I think the truck should be ready for a test drive. So yeah, I'm probably gonna end up closing the video out here. I'm gonna end up doing a video on bed stiffeners if everything goes well. So they're right over here. These are the new bed stiffeners I got from Chassis Unlimited. I think if you're adding a camper or a shell or any sort of thing, anything, bed rack to the back of your Tacoma, these are 100% must. If not, the bed likes to spread apart. The bed sides spread apart, and then you get big gaps in your tailgate if you don't use bed stiffeners. So that video should be up by the time you're watching this, because I'm going to film it right now after I finish buttoning up all this other stuff. But I think that should do it. That should take care of like 90% of the problems with the Tacoma tailgate, or the Tacoma bed, excuse me, if you plan on adding a camper. So, hell yeah, check out the other videos, drop subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one.